Poetry helps me to cope with the painful circumstances life allows me to encounter because it gives my creative mind the platform to innovatively utilize its tools of expression to shape the raw materials of even the deepest painful experiences into works of art. Through this writing process, I develop the ability to see my painful moments through God's eyes instead of my blurry vision. And this helps me to find a way to get through what I am going through so I do not give up. Welcome to the Osheen's Poetry Museum podcast. I am your host, Osheen Wright. In today's episode, we will be focusing on odes. O-D-E-S. Odes. It is a formal or short lyric poem written in celebration, appreciation, or dedication. It is also a poem that praises an individual, an idea, or event. People normally utilize odes to praise good things or good people, or they normally write odes to things or people that they love and appreciate. But have you ever seen someone trying to write an ode to pain or to mistakes? Or if you were given the task to write an ode to something or someone, would you think of writing such a poem of appreciation, such a poem of celebration, such a poem of love, such a poem of dedication to pain or mistakes? Certainly not. That's highly unlikely, right? Pain and mistakes aren't things we would immediately think of expressing gratitude, appreciation, or praise to. However, I wrote an ode to pain as well as a particular mistake recently, and it was an interesting experience. So join me in today's Poetry Museum podcast episode as I take you on a journey that will game change how we see odes, pains, and mistakes. Let's get started. The first poem that I will be introducing you to in today's Poetry Museum journey is entitled Ode to Friendship by Osheen Wright. Oh, friendship, a testament of great resilience, a masterpiece etched through determined diligence. You brighten up my day-to-day life. You save me from loneliness's knife. In you encouragement I find. To me you have been ever so kind. In my life a strong pillar you are. You support me, you always care. Like a painter creating a masterpiece so rare, you create within my life a bond so dear. In every storm that comes our way, we deepen in strength every day. Oh, friendship, your legacy will live on. To others I will always sing your song. A symbol of hope you are to me. I pray we will always be. So, this type of ode is basically an ode to friendship, right? And this is an example of the typical odes that we would expect. Normally, majority of the odes that I see, that I have been blessed to see in my lifetime, persons normally write them in appreciation for things or people or ideas that they love or that they appreciate or something in their life that has been good to them. And in this case, I decided to focus this ode on friendships, because anybody that knows me, if they don't know anything else about me, they know that my friendships mean a lot to me. And the Lord has used very close friendships in my life to really do a lot in my life. And for that, to God and to my friends, I am eternally grateful. So my friendships, they mean a great deal to me. So while I was writing this poem, I was feeling extremely grateful to the persons that God has blessed me to be able to call my close friends. I was extremely grateful to be able to have those friends. And I was thinking of the good times I have had with those friends. I was also thinking of the times when those friends and I have gone through situations and we have come out with a stronger bond. And I was also thinking of the times when my friends have shaped me, my friends have refined me, my friends have been a shoulder to cry on, my friends have been prayer partners with me, and so on and so forth and so forth. And I was thinking of all the things that I am grateful to God for regarding friendships in my life. And all of that came out as I penned this poem. So the first part says, "Oh, friendship, a testament of great resilience." And I can say this because my close friendships especially, there are times when we go through a lot of things, and then we experience things that I did not think that we would overcome. But we were able to overcome. And because of overcoming, or after overcoming, our friendship bond grew even stronger and deeper. And that just shows our resilience. So that's why I said here, oh, friendship, a testament of great resilience, right? Whenever a friendship goes through something and comes out strong, that friendship is telling the world or showing the world what resilience looks like. And I am grateful to say that I have friends where we have gone through things and we have come out even stronger as friends. And my friendship with them, our friendship together, teaches me what resilience is over and over. And so I was just grateful for my friendships when I wrote this ode. So I was just using this poem to praise the friendships I have been graced to experience. They are testaments of great resilience. They are masterpieces etched through determined diligence. They brighten up my day-to-day life. They save me from loneliness's knife. In my friendships, I find encouragement. They are strong pillars. They support me. They always care, etc., etc., etc. So this poem, this ode to friendship, was my way of praising my friendships. It was my way of appreciating my friendships. It was my way of showing gratitude to the friendships that God has blessed me to have strong bonds with in my life. And so that's what you do in an ode. Whenever you write an ode to something or someone or an idea or an experience that you appreciate, within that ode, you are basically writing what you appreciate about them. What have they done for you? What have they done for you? What have they been for you? Hallelujah. What have they saved you out of? Hallelujah. What have they taken you through? So you think about all of those things, and then that is what you are going to talk about now in the ode that you will write about that particular thing, person, or idea that you are appreciating. So that is what I did in this ode to friendship. The next poem in this episode is entitled Ode to My Pain by Osheen Wright. Oh, my pain, though you wound me sore, contained within you are lessons sure, leading me through the path where creatives tread, so I can be a masterpiece uniquely bred. From your soil, oh pain, strategies unfold, pregnant with healing and virtues untold. Though I don't enjoy pain, I know you won't be in vain. After you are through, a lot I will gain. Within your furnace, pain, treasures shine bright, only to be gained by those living by the visionary eyesight. So in God I trust, I surrender to his chance, as he uses you, my pain, to do what he wants. This one, my God. Whew. This one took me going deep. This was not an easy one to write. This one took me going very, very deep. First of all, pain is not normally something that you would say thanks to or express deep appreciation to, right? Normally when you encounter pain, the first thing that you want to do is throw it away, right? Majority of us don't want to encounter pain. We don't want to have anything at all to do with pain. And you know, I've had my fair share of those mental thoughts as well as it relates to pain. I have had my fair share of experiences where I would rather to do anything else. I would rather to experience anything else at all apart from experiencing pain and painful circumstances, right? But you know, regardless, I have been able to realize that there are painful circumstances that I have experienced in my life that have taught me how to be resilient, have taught me how to be more creative, that have taught me how to look at things in different ways that result in me creating and seeing things in unique ways that persons wouldn't normally expect. And so I have experienced pain. I have experienced gaining treasure out of pain over and over and over and over, regardless of how painful the painful experiences were in my life. So I can testify that this ode that I wrote to pain is basically words of truth. Everything here that I wrote in appreciation to pain is actually coming from my heart, and they are things I have actually gone through. They are things I have actually experienced. I have experienced getting strategies from the soil of pain. I have experienced getting strategies, getting creative ideas, you know, from situations that when they first came into my life, I wanted to throw them away. I never wanted to go through them. But because of God's patience and his sovereignty, he carried me through them. And when he was ready, he used those same painful situations to dig me deeper into creativity, to dig me deeper into innovation, and just to refine me and make me and what he is doing through me a treasure. So, yes, pain is not something I would normally want to appreciate. Pain is not something I would normally want to go through. A lot of times, I would rather to throw pain in the garbage and have a life filled with happiness, have a life filled with smiling all the day long until I die. But as the seasons show us that will not happen. In the same way you have seasons of winter and seasons of summer and seasons of autumn. In the same way you don't have a long time of winter. Just winter. It's the same way you won't have a long time of just smiling. There must be a season for smile, and there must be a season for pain, and there must be a season for joy, and there must be a season for sadness. So I have learned that pain has a purpose. I have learned that some of my greatest creative ideas came out of my deepest painful moments. And so these words of appreciation that I have written to pain come from my heart, and they are very true. And this is inspired because God has been teaching me to see pain differently. God has been teaching me and is continuing to teach me not to see pain as trash, but to see it as soil that treasure is planted within. To see it as a treasure chest with treasures inside. Because I'm telling you, I've had a lot of experiences, both personally as well as from other persons, where we were met with painful circumstances. We were met with circumstances that seemed like they were trash, basically. But when God's process was finished with them, when God changed our perspective towards those things, it was amazing the treasures that came out of those pains. And so that's what inspired this ode to my pain. So the last poem in this poetry museum is entitled Ode to the Foolish Galatians by Osheen Wright. O foolish Galatians, thank you for the mistake you made. It's now lessons enabling me to live for Christ's sake. From the trash of your errors, I discovered treasure, leading me to live wise for Christ beyond measure. Within your error, a road map shined bright, brightening the path to avoid if I want to stay in God's light. Though no one wishes to fall, you fell and lived to tell the tales leading to the wisdom true Christianity entails. So cheers to you from a grateful heart. From your mistakes' lessons, my soul will not depart. O foolish Galatians, your deed was not in vain, for from it I now know how to heaven gain. So this poem, I was inspired to write this poem because I am a part of a particular website that hosts daily competitions, daily poetry competitions, right? And so there was this particular poetry competition that required me to write a poem on Galatians chapter 3. So whichever verse from Galatians chapter 3 or verses from Galatians chapter 3 that inspired me, I was supposed to write a poem on that verse. And so I sat with the verse for a while in a particular night, but there was nothing that was coming to me. And so on the following day now, this idea came because I have been experimenting with writing odes for a while. So this idea came, right, to write an ode to the foolish Galatians. And before I even get into helping you to understand this poem even deeper, let me give some context. So in Galatians is basically one of Paul's letters, or let me backtrack. Galatians is Paul's letter to the Galatian church, right? And when you read the book of Galatians, you will realize that the Galatians were facing a particular problem, right? And their problem was the fact that they were moved from the gospel that they had received. So that same gospel that Paul and the apostles preached unto them, there were some other persons now that were coming in, and they succeeded in them to be removed from that particular gospel that Paul preached to them. So Paul basically wrote that letter to address that problem that the Galatians were facing, right? So the Galatians were basically caught in an error. They were moved from the gospel, right? And as a Christian, you're supposed to do whatever it takes to ensure that you are not moved from the gospel of Jesus Christ. But the Galatians didn't do that, right? The obstacles that the Galatians faced caused the Galatians to be moved from the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so that was what Paul was using now the book of Galatians to correct, right? And so while reading the book of Galatians now, I was learning about that. So the Galatian brethren were basically in a mistake. They were basically in an error, right? They were basically experiencing a situation that Paul was trying to correct. And so the idea came to me now to write this ode to the foolish Galatians, thanking them for the fact that because they encountered that mistake, I was now able to learn what to do so I do not encounter the same mistake. So I'm not happy that the Galatians went into that mistake of being removed from the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not happy that they fell. But they fell. But they went into error. And they were able to learn now how to make their wrongs right. So I am grateful for the lessons from their life, because it teaches me how not to make the same error. It teaches me what to do to ensure I, as a Christian, don't get removed from the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so, reading this, I was grateful for the mistake that the foolish Galatians made, because that mistake contained lessons that helped me to be a wise Christian. That mistake contained lessons now that would teach me how to stay closer to the gospel of Jesus Christ. That mistake contained lessons now that would help me to ensure I do whatever I can, whatever is possible, to ensure that nothing uproots me from Jesus. And so I was grateful for that. And so I wrote this ode in appreciation for that, thanking for the lessons and the treasures I found in that mistake. So, oh foolish Galatians, thank you for the mistake you made. It's now lessons enabling me to live for Christ's sake. So they encountered a mistake and Paul corrected it. So from that experience, I can see lessons that will help me not to make the same mistake. I can see lessons that will help me know to live for Christ's sake, right? Chances are maybe if they didn't make that mistake, I wouldn't have these lessons. But maybe I would have these lessons, maybe not, who knows. But I'm thankful that I was able to learn these lessons from their mistakes. And because I'm grateful for that, I appreciate that. That's why I wrote this ode to the foolish Galatians, expressing gratitude for the lessons I gained, for the treasures I gained, from their mistakes. So, in closing, in the same way you can write odes, poems of appreciation, poems of love, poems of gratitude, the things that we love, like friendships, food, people, etc., etc. We can also write odes to pain and odes to mistakes. Those pains we experience, those mistakes we experience. I'm sure that many of us have experienced mistakes that have taught us great lessons that we would not have known if we had not gone through that mistake. Why not write an ode to that mistake, thanking it for the lessons that you were able to experience through it? That will definitely help you to change your perspective. And I am sure that will also help to take you out of self-pity. And that will take you a step further to forgiving yourself and forgiving others. Why not try it? It changed my perspective towards pain and my perspective towards what the foolish Galatians did. So try it. I am sure it will change your perspective too. We have come to the end of this another episode on the Osheen's Poetry Museum podcast. I hope you enjoyed your time with me as we learned about odes and as we also dived into what writing odes about pain and odes about mistakes could be like. I had an exciting journey, an exciting and insightful journey when I wrote those poems. And I hope you are encouraged by them. And I hope you are encouraged to see your pain with a different lens, to see your pain with a different perspective, to see your mistakes with a different lens, to see your mistakes with a different perspective, so that we together can get all the treasures that our pains and mistakes have contained within them, so we can make the world as well as ourselves a better place to be. Until next time, be good. Until next time, dig deeper in Jesus. Until next time, write. Until next time, be who the Lord has created you to be. God bless you.